So thank you for tuning into UTCR.Live. Today I'm here with
Yes, so I currently teach a politics class at UTC Reading. What I did before we closed the school, I currently do the lessons now online, which involves writing up the lessons, which can be very time consuming, because it turns out that the most boring parts of politics also seem to come up in the curriculum a lot. However, these lessons seem to be going well. The exams went well, they went well for me. And yeah, it involves setting homework and marking homework. I'm about 2 months behind on the marking of homework, but what can you say? My experiences. Oh, so I've taken many professional qualifications. I've got a keen interest in doing the programming ones because I was doing some research and it turns out there's a software engineering starting salary of 30,000, which sounds very nice because I think you get a degree out of it. Which, while software engineering has never been a strength of mine, I am a big fan of the 30,000 a year. McDonald's do offer a degree apprenticeship for 22,000, which doesn't look too bad. Well, it's a lot smaller in size. They seem to be a lot more specialised. And while I would say the behaviour does appear to be better at a UTC than other schools, this is not replicated across the country. So when the UTCs were first introduced, the creator Michael Gove said that they believed that they had failed. UTC is one of the UTC Reading is one of the exceptions to this, as it currently has an outstanding Ofsted grade and is considered a world-class school. So we should thank the senior leadership team for all their work in keeping it as one of the best UTCs in the country. That's alright. He doesn't seem to appear anywhere near me. He said that when he first joined that he thought I would be embarrassed by him being there. It turns out that he's embarrassed by me being there, which may or may not be a good thing.
oh,
You
and
probably
people
didn't
have
expect
talked.
me to plaster my face across all the walls in a run for student president, which that came from the teachers who thought I was going to do that, not me. So in response, we're going to go and do that now. Ooh, that's a very good question. I'd say I first got into it soon after the 2015 general election. It's somewhere in between there and Brexit. I was picked up by the pro-Brexit message of getting back national sovereignty, and after that I was a keen enthusiast. I stayed up all night watching the 2016 US election results, which was a fascinating evening, because you could just switch through the channels, and with the exception of Fox News, all the presenters seemed to be crying when they heard Trump was elected. Which, well, it was considered a surprise when you looked at the state polls rather than the national polls. The state polls did suggest that Trump would win, and even the national polls, they were accurate because Hillary Clinton did indeed win the popular votes. And then it just results in me staying up every 2 years because we keep calling elections. Which, I mean, the Conservatives have now got a lovely majority in Parliament, which will allow Boris to perform an agenda. It's certainly a bit moderate. I would prefer a much more pro-business government, but we'll take this over a hard left Corbyn government. If I remember correctly, because I think this quote must have been years ago. The quote book was first published. It must have been 2 years ago or so now. It's not a recent public. I think, if I remember correctly, it came from a game where there were a bunch of sausages dropping down from somewhere. You had to like jump out, fly out, and catch them, and I just wasn't very good at it. This was certainly towards the start of it, and while I think it's not even that good of a quote, I feel like you were insistent that you wanted me to be on the quote board book. That's why I've got my own chapter on it, which I'm also the only person to have a picture in the quote book, performing my certainly superior knowledge and expertise in, well, I guess, quotes. We were reading the reviews on Amazon, and there were quite a few negative reviews about the picture on the back. So I've got a great interest in politics, believe it or not. I'm an active member of the Conservative Party, and since the lockdown started, they've been regularly having Zoom meetings where you can talk with the local councillors. I believe, Ben, you're also a Conservative member, even if you don't remember signing up at all. Although I've never seen you at any of these meetings. Why is that? What could be more important than speaking to your local MP who might be able to get you networked and contacts? I hear the Bracknell Conservative website is not the best website, but it certainly could be improved. You could go and target them. There's certain I've got a safe filled with precious metals, which have done quite well out of this. And certainly, there's nothing better than spending an evening listening to some famous political speeches.
It was at this point that Daniel began to speak endlessly about his experience in American politics. For the benefit of the average listener, we have now sped this up so that you do not have to sit through what I sat through. If you would prefer to listen to the speech in its entirety, then please see the link in the description. Please now enjoy these videos of kittens to keep you occupied during this time. Absolutely wonderful hearing from you.
It's been a pleasure to be on the show, and if you're interested, tune in on Tuesdays or Thursdays for my political, economic and law lectures. Benji is meant to be coming in on one of these shows, but he's continued to not turn up, partly because he'll end up getting bored to death. But if you want to get to sleep on one of those nights, feel free to tune in and fall asleep to my boring, bumbling rants.
Thank you to Daniel for coming on the show, and of course, thank you to you for listening to UTCR Live.